welcome back to the channel. Guys, in this video, let's talk about some workflows within the team managed projects. When it comes to adding the statuses, the good thing about that is the effect itself is on one project, which is this team managed project. Team managed projects are not using any of the schemes. And here are some options that you actually have in there. So I'm here and I'm having my workflow in team managed projects. Funny thing is, when you actually want to use the team managed projects and their workflows, you will be, if I can say, forced to use the new one. Now, it takes some time to actually get the hang of it, especially with the new ones. And this will be applied on the company managed projects as well. We're going to be prepared for that. And we have some transitions in here that have been added in here, including this self-reflecting transition that I'm having. When you're having the self-reflecting transition, this is usually when you need to make some of the updates or information that needs to be done without changing the status itself. And based on this one, the status from here, I don't have any transitions from done to testing or progress, for example. I wouldn't even need this self-reflecting transition. But if you actually go with the transitions themselves, we have these rules in here, and we also have the properties. So as you can see, there isn't really something that it says trigger, condition, and validation, for example. It's different than the old one. Properties, there are properties, and you can indeed use the properties within the workflows themselves. But when you actually go for the rules, you have the rules that are for restricting things, rules that are for validating the things, and rules that are actually doing some of the actions in here. There are some limitations in team managed projects when it comes to the workflows themselves. These perform actions, this is something that could be translated as the post. So this actually means when the transition already took place, right? So also we have within the restriction itself, okay, we have these options in here. You have 5 options in here. You can select restrict who can move this issue. You can restrict this to either users, roles, permissions, groups, or users in custom fields or groups in the custom fields as well. So that means if we're actually saying that, let's say, members cannot actually move this within the done, right? So I can go here and I can say restrict, and I can say roles, and let's say even better example would be if I'm going with this, right? And I can say rules, and I can say restrict, and I can say roles, and I can say viewer. So this means that who is a viewer, they cannot do any of those things. So if I'm actually doing this and restricting this already, I don't have to go through every transition to actually restrict this, because it needs to go through the transitions themselves, because I don't have any global transitions placed. So that's one thing. Then we have also, let's say, for the progress, and we are, let's say, going with the validate field, right? Within the validate, we can say we need to check if the certain person has the option to has the option transition any issue? No, not any of those things. Let's say validate a field, and if it's saying now you can, when saying validating a field, we're actually, well, validators are being used to actually indeed validate if a certain field is actually meeting the requirements. What this actually means is, in order to actually do transition, we need to say this field is required to actually be filled out. If it's not, then you're gonna see an error. So we can actually go with this, and we can say, but this needs to have a due date. It's simple. And for testing, we can actually do in here, if you go for rules, and I can say something like update an issue field, and I can say like labels. So in this way, what you can actually do is replace everything in the field with this text, right? Or add to the existing text in the field. So what I can actually do, I can say I'm gonna choose one Atlassian, gonna click on add. Basically that's it. When you're doing the updating of the workflow itself, so it's gonna ask you to work types you want this to be applied to. So I don't want this to be applied to everything. So I don't want this to be applied for people, and I want this to be applied for tasks. So epic, story, and subtask. I'm gonna click on save. Basically, we're done. Nothing in here to actually be, to add. You also have show transition labels. This is actually pretty useful to have. And when you actually close this, that's it. Your workflow has been edited indeed. So since I'm the admin in here, right, so what I can actually do, I can go move this in progress, I can move this in testing, I can move this in done. I cannot move this, but I can transition this to done again, basically do it. Now, what I can also add in here, if we go around, yeah, we got self-reflecting stuff and everything else that is related to. The thing is that when we are actually doing this, we don't have this option to add a specific screen here. That's the thing. At least I don't see there an option to add the screen when you're moving this to done. But overall, that is how the workflows in Team Manage projects work. Right. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. See ya. Bye.